while many people appreciate receiving their social grants, recipients still face challenges. And the Black Sash says its research has revealed that participants highlighted a number of issues when it comes to this, and they've since published a book called Hands Off Our Grants. We're now joined by the former National Director of Black Sash, Ms. Lynette Maart. Ms. Maart, thank you very much for availing yourself this afternoon. Maybe take us back to 2013 when it was just a campaign called Hands Off Our Grants. What were some of the issues that you noticed that prompted you to launch the campaign?
Thanks. The first issues that sort of started to get our opinion on this was that SASSA had concluded at the time a contract with Cash Paymaster Services, a subsidiary of Newzroom, for 5 years to the value of 10 billion rand. And in 2013, that contract was declared constitutionally unlawful and invalid in the Allpay case. But in 2012, Black Sash started to pick up, through its community monitoring, unexplained deductions from the SASSA-branded Grindrod bank account into which social grants were paid at the time, following the implementation of this SASSA CPS contract. Grant beneficiaries knocked on our door. They knocked on the door of the Black Sash. They knocked on the door of advice officers. They knocked on the door of community-based organizations across the country, seeking recourse and refunds. And they faced many challenges in this process of recourse, or the journey of recourse, undertaken at great financial and personal cost. And they were often sent from pillar to post between role players, including CPS, Net1, its subsidiaries, its allies, SAPs, the different tiers of SASSA, and the individual grant recipient, the members of their households were often blamed for these deductions. The deductions were manifold, but I'll just use two examples. The one was the story of Grace, a pensioner from Makwasi. This is 270 kilometers south of Johannesburg. Had explained airtime deductions in November 2013, 99 Rand, December 50 Rand, January 2014, 99 Rand. And then there was also, she was informed that there was an advance request for February 2014. She did not owe a cell phone. CPS agents checked, but when they checked the number wasn't linked to her nor anybody in her household. And so we took Ma Grace's story to the minister on the 28th of February 2014, and she agreed after explanation to refund Ma Grace all these deductions. And that opened the door, in a way, for a SASSA-controlled recourse and refund system.
We find ourselves in 2022, Ms. Maart, where you have published this book, Hands Off Our Grants, a number of themes, taking a look at some issues that the public may be aware of, but broader issues that we're not, right? So the queues that you will witness during, pay dates for SASSA payments, the long queues, as well as hunger and food security. But they're also plagued by some officials who want to take money from them just to skip a line in the queue.
Well, there's all sorts of issues that emerged from this book. There were also cases of funeral deductions, lawful ones. And so we had to kind of make a plan almost to try and stop these deductions with implications for the future, as you say. Yes, there are those long lines, and we need to take care of them. There's the issues with the social relief of distress grant, and I will come back to those just now. But the upshot of our intervention had many inputs. And I think that the one thing that we do want to stress, that there was a ministerial task team appointed by Minister Dlamini to, in fact, look at this issue. And there were 5 kind of issues that we structured all of this kind of around in a way. The first big one was just to stop these deductions that people had complained about. The second one was to ensure that SASSA installed the function of grant payments, because at the time it was outsourced nationally to Cash Master Services, with Net1 as its the entity that supports it. And so the question was looking at all of this, but there was also issues around funeral deductions, cleanup, regulations, and also the question of how do we get these deductions from children's grants and temporary grants. In 2017, the Black Sash launched a case to ensure that SASSA recipients, in fact, receive their grants, because the contract with Cash Master Services was expiring in March 2017. And the Constitutional Court allows us, and the request was that a mechanism be put in place to ensure that social grants could be paid on the 1st of April 2017, because it was putting millions of grant beneficiaries at risk of not receiving their grants. And so the Constitutional Court at the time extended the 1-year contract on the same commercial terms, but the court resumed its supervisory role, and also this time put in place a panel of experts to ensure that payments are not disrupted, but also to facilitate the process of insourcing.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we can afford, but thank you very much for coming on to tell us about the book. And where can people find it, maybe very quickly?